morning, it's 2 a.m. I'm Kevin Frankish on the assignment desk in the CityPulse newsroom. Emergency task force on the scene. They're looking for an attempt murder suspect. Ambulance and fire and police have the right lane blocked off. Only had a CityPulse crew on the scene with them. We will have full details of breakfast television in 1/2 hour.
From King and Bay, this is CityTV everywhere. Tonight, jury's still out.
Tonight, George packs his suitcase.
Tonight, beautiful South, beautiful music.
Here's the latest from the CityPulse News team. CityPulse tonight. Good evening. Quiet in your neighborhood tonight? Should have been in Eglinton and Kingston. Emergency task force everywhere after police got a call from a man threatening to kill his wife. Possibly armed, possible hostages. After 2 tense hours tying up a small army, suspect gave up. No weapon, no captives, just piles of paperwork as cops charged the 34-year-old guy with uttering a death threat. And seen this man, Kiram Qureshi, missing since March 13th after leaving his Palmerston Boulevard home, now also a week overdue for medication. 27 years old, 6 feet, 155 pounds, slim build. Wore a gray coat, jeans, and brown shoes. If you've got a lead tonight, call 14 Division 324-1400. And a constable shoots himself to death in Scarborough's 41 Division. The officer, about 40 years old, on the force some 2 decades. He'd apparently been on stress-related leave for a while, not necessarily involving work. The second suicide this year on the force. But ours is a hard-pressed police force tonight, murmuring of low morale, of some cops ducking cases, heavy on paperwork, en masse retirement of 3 deputy chiefs, cost-cutting heat, and hackles over Police Services Board Chair Susan Eng.
We've added approximately 500 officers in the past 5 years plus, and we're spending 50% more money on policing, 500 million plus, than we did 5 years ago. And the crime rate's still going up.
There are people out there who believe that Susan Eng is the kind of person that this force needs. She keeps the force honest, at least.
I don't believe that the police force is dishonest. And I don't believe it needs to have somebody out there to keep the police force honest.
Expect to hear from Eng herself tomorrow, and Thursday, a private clear-the-air session between her board and police brass. But tonight, how about you clearing the air?
I think she's okay, but I think that the Police Services Board is an important board in our community, and I think that we have to have also opposing views to her.
Not much. She doesn't know what she's doing half the time. Politician for herself, not the people.
First of all, I don't answer to Susan Eng, and the only person I answer to is Chief Bill McCormick. How about you, Tommy?
I feel the same way.
Most of us feel the same way.
I think she's doing a very difficult job against, well, with very little sympathy from people.
A couple of blocks away, our live eye and Lorne Honigman keeping tabs on the Robert Balovich trial, which is now in the hands of the jury. Lorne?
Well, Mark, it has been a full day of deliberations here at the courthouse for the jury. Still no verdict as jury members try to decide whether or not Robert Balovich killed Elizabeth Bain. The Crown's case against Robert Balovich was based solely on circumstantial evidence, and the theory is straightforward. Back in June of 1990, Balovich and Elizabeth Bain were having problems in their relationship, and she wanted out. Balovich could not stand the rejection, so on June the 19th, in the bushes near the Scarborough College tennis courts, he kills her, puts her body into the back of her car, and a few days later drives the car up to the Lake Scugog area where he dumps the body. Throughout it all, the Crown alleges that Balovich attempted to cover his tracks and create an alibi for himself. And the Crown's conclusion, Robert Balovich had the motive and the opportunity to kill Bain. But the defense says because Bain's body has never been found, there is no conclusive proof that she is even dead. This despite the fact that her blood was found in the back of the car. The defense admits that if she is dead, she could have killed herself due to her supposed depressed state at the time. And if she was murdered, there certainly could be other killers besides Balovich. The defense position, there is not enough conclusive evidence for a jury to decide beyond a reasonable doubt that Robert Balovich was the murderer of Elizabeth Bain. The jury started deliberating at about 10 o'clock this morning. They went for about 11 hours, and then at about 9:15, they told the judge that they wanted to call it a night. They headed over to the Holiday Inn. As you can see there, they came out of the courthouse. They are sequestered right now at the hotel. They are not allowed to read any newspapers or watch any TV. Tomorrow morning, they will come back to the courthouse, again under guard, make sure nobody can talk to them, and they will go back to their deliberations. And I will, of course, be back at the courthouse here tomorrow as we try to find out whether or not this jury will come to a decision tomorrow on whether or not Robert Balovich is guilty as charged. Mark?
Okay, thanks, Lauren. A long-awaited ruling tonight from the College of Physicians and Surgeons. Doctors who suspect their colleagues of sexually abusing patients must report them to the college.
It is one step towards the promotion of public safety. I mean, it's so obvious at one level, but it wasn't happening. And we heard so often with the task force about how many women were left without, they had told someone and nothing was done.
Even if a doctor learns of abuse while treating a colleague, he must report it. The policy was recommended by the Sexual Abuse Task Force 4 months ago. Coming up tomorrow, we'll see if Metro high school teachers follow their union's recommendations and ratify a tentative contract. If the deal gets the thumbs up, their week-old Work to Rule campaign will wind down. The fishing flotilla from Newfoundland should reach the edge of the Grand Banks early tomorrow. Its mission to protest foreign overfishing just outside Canada's 200-mile limit. Their cause is catching attention in our capital city.
The international community will recognize that we're doing what is needed to protect the stocks, not only for Canadian fishermen, but for the fishermen of the world.
The 7 trawlers plan to take symbolic custody of the controversial waters. Another fight tonight sparked by the death of baby Teresa, the infant born without a brain, dying before the Florida Supreme Court would declare her legally dead. The family battling to have her organs donated for transplant before her death and vowing to fight on.
For her, I am going on. I don't stop. She gave me a lot of strength, a lot of knowledge, a lot of courage. I'm going to give it to all the children, if I can.
Medical experts doubting any of baby Teresa's organs are now healthy enough for transplant.
We're going to go to jail here? We're going to go to jail.
Mike Tyson signing up for more trouble in prison tonight. The former heavyweight champ facing a reprimand for giving fellow inmates his autograph. According to corrections officials, prisoners are warned not to give away valuables, including the boxer's signature. Tyson serving 6 years for raping a Miss Black America contestant last year. Making sure they stay out of jail tonight, strippers. The Strip-a-thon protesting censorship forces in Alberta. The province to introduce a bill which could ban nude dancing. The strippers trekking to Stettler from across Canada annually, choosing the east central Alberta town because it's Premier Don Getty's riding and the home of an anti-stripping activist.
If we want to make a living at dancing, we're not harming anybody, not even ourselves.
Student funding could soon be stripped from Ryerson's campus community radio station. Tonight, videographer Dominic Chulo looks in on CKLN's battle for bucks.
CKLN is a station that you can become part of yourself. You can make requests, they actually get played, and you're not going to hear the same old stuff that you hear on other radio stations.
How would you be affected by this 30% cutback?
It would basically mean cutting back on any sort of special programming that the station does and focusing on finding funds. And in a recession, that obviously wouldn't be too easy.
Yeah, by the way, Dominic, Hi, Dominic.
Nice meeting you.
Maybe if you could play one of the referendum cards.
Yeah, I got that one there. Great. You know what I just got a request for, which is absolutely perfect, Denise? Do it. I just think it's a real shame that a few people have got a chip on their shoulder for some strange reason about CKLN and are trying to force us to be exactly like all the other stations on the FM band in Toronto.
I'm an independent band, so I mean we rely on stations like this to
to help us out, you know, to get out to listeners. And if they lose part of their budget, then it's going to affect us too.
Hi, Dominic Schulo, CityPulse News. This is the Ryerson Students Union.
Yes, it is.
Is there anyone I could speak to here regarding CKLN?
Yes, there's a few people back there you can talk to.
Great, thank you.
There's a lot of room for CKLN to change, but until they've changed enough to suit student needs, we just shouldn't fund them.
April 1st, students will be asked to vote yes or no to continue funding of CKLN at a cost of $8.03 per year as part of their student union fees. Dominic Schulo, CityPulse Tonight.
Lots going on in the rest of the world of showbiz. John Burgess makes a rare appearance just moments from now on CityPulse Tonight. And now his regular appearance from the roof. Here's an early check of the forecast and Harold Hossein.
Mark, it's a beautiful spring evening out here, and you know what? Tomorrow is going to be very similar to today. Let's find out what's happening in sports. Here's Spike.
All right, I got the goods of the NHL players and the new strike deadline Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Reaction from the big George Bell trade, folks, and baseball and more coming up.
I'm Libby Znaimer. City Biz is next tonight. How sweet it is.
We've all been hearing a lot about the work underway to renew our Constitution. This process isn't easy, but it's important. The future of Canada depends on it. Recently, a special joint committee of the House of Commons and the Senate consulted with Canadians across the country, then made a unanimous report to Parliament. It makes recommendations on such matters as Quebec's distinct society and the linguistic duality of Canada, self-government for Aboriginal peoples, Senate reform, a new sharing of responsibilities between governments, a social covenant, and Canadian economic union. This report marks another important step in the renewal of Canada's Constitution. For your copy of the Special Joint Committee's report, call 1-800-561-1188. Get informed. Canada is worth it.
If you stink, you stink.
Every day, catch a different artist in the Blue Spotlight.
It's easy to play a lot of stuff. It's very hard to be a simple, real rock and roll band.
It's an in-depth look at your favorite music makers.
I always know what I want to do, and I try to just make it sound good.
Featuring hits from the past and the present.
My name is up there with all these people who are really stars. It's like, don't tell them.
It's a super session featuring your favorite artist, the Blue Spotlight, every day on Much Music.
What can you do? I mean, how will you find out what's wrong?
Nuclear medicine can often be used to diagnose health problems without resorting to surgery. What if one of these guys does something wrong?
Independent systems will automatically shut down the reactor, and a containment structure is in place to protect everyone in case equipment fails.
For more information on nuclear energy, give us a call.
Tonight, the hospitality industry fights the recession with a big sale on hotel rooms and airline tickets.
From April the 11th through until the end of May, we're offering the general public 2 rooms for the price of 1 at an already discounted rate as far as the hotels are concerned, and 2 airline seats for the price of 1 on the Canadian partners.
I like traveling in Ontario, in Canada. So, yeah, that would be a good incentive.
Well, I'd like to go out west, visit my sister in Edmonton.
Initiative.
It's not surprising that competing companies are working together on this. The hotel business is down 15 to 20% from last year, and 1991 was already a bad year. The airlines are also bleeding.
We're all suffering, not just because of the economic environment, but there's a whole restructuring going on here. I think consumer confidence is at an all-time low.
And there's more trouble in the hospitality industry. Workers who set up and tear down shows at the convention center are on strike.
I think in this day and age, money is never really all that much of a factor nowadays, as opposed to what job security is.
After being approved by Health and Welfare Canada in September, this new product is hitting the store shelves tonight.
Canada is the only country in the world where Splenda is currently available. It is made from sugar, and it has one incredible advantage, is that you may cook with it or bake with it. If you use a cup of sugar to cook with, you're using 800 calories. If you're cooking with a cup of Splenda, you're using 100 calories.
This product is a lot lower in calories than sugar, but it's also a lot more expensive. The large size is about $5.99, and that'll give you approximately 4 cups of sweetener. With the ins and outs of money, I'm Libby Znaimer for CityPulse Tonight.
Entertainment tonight, and John Burgess is here with a hot English group and their local debut. Who is it?
Thanks very much. It's a melodious English band, Beautiful South. It's on stage at the concert hall tonight, playing for a large and appreciative audience. This afternoon, the musicians dropped by our studios and chatted with Steve Anthony.
36 feet, so wide, is that all that you got? 36 feet, so wide, is that all that you got?
Other than obviously home, where do you guys do well, sales-wise? In Germany?
Germany?
Yeah.
Big in Germany. Do reasonably well in France and Holland, Central Europe sort of thing. But apart from that, we're not really popular anywhere else.
36 feet, so wide, is that all that you got? 36 feet, so wide, is that all that you got?
It's billed as the first ever Broadway-style musical from the former Soviet Union. Russians on Broadway is currently in previews at the Music Hall Theater on the Danforth. It was a busy weekend at movie box offices with a basketball pick scoring big.
Go! You know, Billy, when I was looking at it before, I thought it was a little high myself, man. But after reevaluating, see, I think it was just like an optical illusion.
Shut up, man.
Billy, listen to me.
What?
White men can't jump.
It might be true that white men can't jump, but the movie got off to a jump start at the box office with $14.7 million over the last 3 days.
Oh! What is that? Go! Look down! Look down!
See if it avoids the foul line in weeks to come.
Okay, thanks very much, John. And it's true in basketball, they can't. Anyway, Gallagher has sports coming up.
I'm John Gallagher, and I can vouch for that. 5-7. In sports tonight, it's the Players' Challenge.
At Discount, renting a car for the weekend is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Take a minute now, listen to me. Rent for 2 weekends, the third one's free.
That's right, free. Just rent a car for any 2 weekends, and your third weekend's free. We'll pick you up and drop you off. Free. So you're free to go anywhere, do anything. Discount weekends. Easy as 1, 2, free. Call Discount. We want your business, and we'll come right to your door to get it.
No matter where you need to go in the USA, American Airlines can take you there. Through Terminal 3, we give you access to over 200 U.S. destinations, more than any other airline, including the most daily nonstops to New York and Chicago, plus Americans Advantage Travel Awards program and service by the best people. That's why business in America is the business of Americans.
Everyday value prices. For the past 40 years, Lansing Buildall has been taking the mystery out of home improvement for the do-it-yourself crowd. During that time, we've listened to our customers, and we've learned that they don't want to wait for sales to start their renovations. That's why we've introduced everyday value prices, so homeowners don't have to wait to renovate.
Yes, we would. Do it right with Lansing Buildall.
Buy where the builders buy. Lansing Buildall, where service, quality, and everyday value prices are offered to every customer every day.
There
Fabricland's best ever 1-cent sale is on now. Buy 1 full meter of selected fabric at Fabricland's regular price. Get the next for just a penny. And McCall patterns are 3 for 1 at Fabricland.
How do Michelle Lee, Morgan Fairchild, and Michelle Phillips look so fabulous over 40? I have lots of sex. How you can look fabulous over 40 on the next Oprah.
Oprah, tomorrow at 4 on City. Time now for sports, and when we last left our labor dispute, here's John Gallagher.
That's right. It was indeed D-Day for the players as far as they were concerned, the NHL players in a tizzy. They had a noon deadline today, and at that time would announce what they would do with the owner's latest proposal. Accept it or 86 it. Now, we sent Jimmy Kinney down to the news conference. How he's a former Leaf. He knows all about what the owners are making and what the players are being paid. He filed this report.
I find it somewhat ironic. I mean, this is the 75th anniversary of the NHL. Players have never gone on strike, but believe me, they're walking this Wednesday afternoon. But why should hockey players be any different than, like, football players and baseball players? They've both gone on strike.
Yes, that's it, thanks. This morning at 8 o'clock, there was a conference call. Participating in the call were the negotiating committee members, as well as player representatives from each of the 22 teams. The call lasted about an hour and a half. And as an outcome of the discussions, the player reps took some action. The negotiating committee and the team player reps have made the decision to take the owner's final offer back to the entire membership for a vote. They are recommending a rejection of that offer, and they are extending the strike deadline until 3 p.m. on Wednesday.
And they'll make an announcement, I guess, here in Toronto. You know, one of the funny parts and one of the stumbling blocks, and you hockey card collectors, listen up, it's the cards themselves. The union earns $11 million from the cards, and the owners want a part of that. Now, no games tonight, no strike or not. You know, nothing was affected. Leafs may or may not play the Islanders here on Wednesday. Mario Lemieux got him in the pool, NHL's Player of the Week. Safe to say it wasn't his first honor. Quick notes this evening. Argos have signed former Tampa Bay Buck defensive back Bobby Fertrell. Helen Kelsey is pulled out of the Family Circle tennis tournament in South Carolina. Stomach virus. Now, big news in baseball today. Jays lose 7-3 to Pittsburgh, but look what former Jay is in the news. Oh, George Bell, Bashers unite. Bell is on his way across town. The Chicago Cubs have traded him to the Chicago White Sox. The Cubs will get outfielder Sammy Sosa and Ken Patterson. He spent, 6, 7, 8 years, you might call them turbulent years here in Toronto. Widely known as one of the biggest jerks in professional sports. He will now almost guaranteed be a full-time DH. Break my heart. Now, our feature match this afternoon, Red Sox and the Rangers. I stay at the park for Ranger catcher Juan Gonzalez. Pick off of Mike Greenwald here. Can do it behind the plate. He can do it at the plate. Watch this. Here's the pitch. Juan Gonzalez. Oh, shot into right center field. Doubles into the gap. Here comes 1 run to score. Gonzalez would add a 2-run home run later. Juan Gonzalez, not bad. Rangers will wrap this one up easily. Jeff Russell strikes out Jack Clark. You're out of there. Rangers win it by a score of 7-1. What's on your mind, young man?
I just saw that young catcher there, and we could sure use a young catcher like that. And George Bell, really.
I think that's kind of neat, yeah. I think a lot of George Bell bashers really appreciate the fact that he's not going to be a full DH. And when you get to be kind of a suitcase kind of guy, when you traded a couple of times like that, it doesn't do your career or your image any good.
Oh, well. See, it breaks your heart. Thanks, John, very much. Heart. Harold has a forecast, and it's probably going to be okay coming up.
Hi, I'm Harold Hossein. Take the sunglasses for the first half of the day tomorrow. Back after the Bell Canada Weather Shot. The Eyes of Toronto.
Heard the word of mouth on Bye Bye Birdie? It's dynamite. It's super. It's Tommy Tune. It's rock and roll. It's Broadway. It's Tommy Tune. It's a blast from the past. It's live on stage. It's Broadway's biggest star in Broadway's happiest musical. Tommy Tune and Bye Bye Birdie.
At the O'Keefe Center, May 27th through 31st. For tickets, call 872-2222.
Tickets on sale Monday. Here are just a few of the exciting new products that you'll find in my Easter Insiders Report. A President's Choice Easy Carb, fresh center-cut leg of New Zealand lamb with free peanut sauce. Candy jams, lemon temptation cookies, a totally clear cola, an Italian-style bread that bakes in 10 minutes, an unbelievably good pecan cheesecake pie. If your supermarket refuses to create exciting new products like this for you, then maybe this Easter, it's time to switch supermarkets.
Hours away from April, that makes you think spring. Let's see if the weather's thinking with us. Here's Harold.
I kind of think it is, Mark. It's going to be kind of spring-like through tomorrow, but it's going to take a little bit of a downturn on Wednesday, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But right now, we've got a temperature holding, oh, that should be the other way. It's +4 out here, and it's fairly comfortable. The wind nice and calm, and as you can see, the humidity there at 60%, and the pressure is now steady at 102.2 kilopascals. Well, the sun will rise tomorrow at 6:01, setting at 6:44 for 12 hours and 43 minutes of daylight. We got to a high of 7 degrees today. That's 44 Fahrenheit. Overnight, though, as the cloud clears, we'll drop down to around -3. Well, some of that cloud is persisting, and you may see the odd little sprinkle here and there tonight, but certainly nothing to really worry about. The satellite picture shows us most of the cloud remaining well south of the lower lakes as that system heads off into the Atlantic Ocean, and slightly cooler air, but drier and clearer, coming in from the northwest. And in our close-up, you can see that cloud just nudging by southwestern Ontario, and that heavier band over us now is starting to pull away, leaving us with some clearing coming in over the next several hours. And as that clearing comes in, of course, the temperature is going to dip down a little bit, so we'll see overnight temperatures dropping to around -3 in Toronto, -2 down London, Windsor way, and -4 to -5 from Collingwood through Peterborough, Lindsay, and Muskoka. Tomorrow, starting off with sunshine in the morning, getting up to around 7 degrees along the Lake Erie shoreline, 6 here in Toronto, and 3 to 4 from Muskoka through Collingwood, Lindsay, and Peterborough. Well, it looks as though things are going to be fairly good for the next several days. We start off with sunshine tomorrow, cloud moves in tomorrow afternoon, and will persist into Wednesday. A little bit of bad news here in that we might see a few flurries late tomorrow night and into Wednesday. As we take a look at that 5-day forecast now, you'll see tomorrow, clouds moving in the afternoon, and the umbrella is up for tomorrow night. Could see a little sprinkle there, but the temperature tomorrow is going to be about 6 degrees. Wednesday, lots of cloud, maybe a few flurries, and we get down to only a high of 0. But as you see, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, well, we've got temperatures around 2 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Windy, though, Thursday and Saturday, so that 2 degrees might feel a little bit on the chilly side. March went out, well, just 1 degree below normal and about a third of the amount of precipitation that we should get. And tomorrow at 6 o'clock, you'll see the April forecast. Mark, that's it from here. Back to you.
Hey, thanks, Harold. Some stories to watch for tomorrow. Ottawa introducing gun control regulations, finally putting some teeth in its legislation sitting on the shelf since December. And Ben Chin tracks heroin addicts searching for a way to kick the habit in part 2 of our news serial on addiction.
Tomorrow on Breakfast Television, we've got some real sharp shooters with Code of the West. We're going to unlock the mysteries of the male witch, and we'll prove that it makes sense to learn self-defense. All this and much more served up tomorrow morning live at 7 on Breakfast Television.
And that is this edition of City Pulse tonight. Kevin Frankish has your next update at 2 a.m. from Citytv everywhere. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
30 minutes from now, Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson are shooting stars going in opposite directions in the musical remake A Star Is Born. It's a Citytv premiere right after SCTV next.
Great.